Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. The Spirit of Tasmania vessels will have a new Victorian home in Geelong under a landmark new deal. TT Line is ditching Station Pier in Port Melbourne after our government accused Vic Ports of price gouging. The move will increase travel times to Melbourne's CBD, but the company says its brand new hub will be easier and more efficient for freight companies and travellers.
This industrial port is set to become the new mainland home for our Spirit of Tasmania vessels. TT Line announcing today its Victorian dock will move from inner Melbourne to the satellite city of Geelong.
Quite frankly, we've just outgrown it. We believe that our capacity constraints are pretty serious there, and that's been shown by, the feedback we've had from our customers.
The existing service takes around 9 to 11 hours, docking at Station Pier in the inner city suburb of Port Melbourne. The new sailings will take around the same time, but dock at Corio Quay, north of Geelong. That's an extra 1 hour drive between Melbourne, depending on traffic. But TT Line says the move addresses customer concerns.
Independent research of our passengers identified 3 key elements that support a move to Geelong. A location that was easy to get to, ease of check-in procedures and a lack of traffic getting to and from the terminal.
Most tourists aren't looking to go to Melbourne, they're looking to go to the mainland, they're looking to go to Victoria.
This is a concept design for what the 12-hectare site will look like. The purpose-designed passenger terminal to include a marshalling area for 600 cars, easier check-in, amenities, a playground and a pet exercise area.
We can have a dedicated terminal only used by us. That will be far more efficient, will be world-class technology right throughout.
Promising there will be no job losses and the price of a ticket will not increase. The move also aiming to address current freight concerns.
The new Geelong facility will feature a dedicated freight terminal, streamlined and segregated passenger and freight entry and exit points, 150 truck parking bays and a 24/7 secure freight yard.
It's also within 40 minutes of 80% of our freight customers' needs.
The shake-up comes after tense negotiations over our continuing use of Station Pier. Tasmanian government accused Victoria Ports of price gouging as they tried to bargain a new lease. Now the site upgrades will be paid for by Geelong Ports, but the cost of the new deal remains a mystery.
I'm not able to talk specific numbers, but there's a very significant difference. We're going to a much better facility for much less comparative cost.
TT Line's lease in Port Melbourne ends in November 2022, with work on the Geelong site to start immediately. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
And in reaction to the move, some Tasmanian travellers have questioned the extra driving time to Melbourne, but peak industry groups are welcoming the shake-up. Caravanners say it will be an easier commute without having to tackle city traffic. And while the freight sector now faces new logistical challenges, it says the change will ultimately be better.
The Spirit of Tasmania ships have been a bright red billboard for our state, proudly displayed to the people of Melbourne at Station Pier. Now we're set to lose that position, but the caravanners say moving the dock an hour away won't hurt tourism.
The onloading and offloading regime in Port Melbourne, that's old infrastructure. We regularly see the streets of Port Melbourne being choked up, and that's not really the experience we want.
For Tasmanian travellers heading to Victoria, the new route does mean arriving further away from the city. But this may provide a relief from those tricky hook turns in front of trams and is closer to the Great Ocean Road.
I think it will increase tourism. We've got the Geelong and the Bellarine Peninsula on the doorstep. We get a lot of tourism from the boat coming down to Geelong, so this will just shorten their trip down to the Great Ocean Road.
They can get on the road quickly to their next destination or coming on board into Tasmania. The actual site is just phenomenal.
The move also provides space for freight to be held while waiting for collection. Currently at Station Pier, freight must be picked up immediately. But it does add extra travel time for trucks carrying our goods north to Sydney and beyond.
We've got traffic flows to take into consideration. However, I guess the best aspect of this is that we have about a year and a half to re-establish our supply chains to ensure that they comply.
Another transition, 2 new larger Spirit of Tasmania vessels are still on the way, despite the government ditching the original European shipbuilder as it faced significant financial struggles.
We're still in discussion, remain in very positive discussion with a shipyard in Europe, and that's going according to plan. That's going full steam ahead.
Labor has called for more information on the cost of the lease and for the market research behind the decision to be made public. Louise Huber, 7 Tasmania News.